podcast made by basketball fans for basketball fans. From the hottest takes, news, analysis, and passion for the sport that we all love, this is the Fast Break Pod with Finn James and Will Tremaine.
Welcome into the Fast Break Podcast, the podcast made by basketball fans.
For basketball fans.
Finn James.
Will Tremaine.
Welcome back to episode 28 on the podcast. Will, how you been? I feel like I haven't seen you in a while.
I'm good, bro. I'm pretty chill. What about yourself, mate?
Mate, I've had a pretty big weekend day, I'll be honest. Down in the big Mount Maunganui for Saturday night for my brother's birthday.
Fair enough.
Had a bit of a boogie at Bruco last night with mum and dad. That was interesting. It was good though. Good fun.
Nice.
Spent it with my lovely girlfriend and my brother, and sun was out. And probably a few too many beverages consumed last night. However, we are here and we're punching on because there is quite a bit to unpack from the last week of basketball. However, we'll of course jump into it with the world news.
You don't want to ask how my weekend was, Finn? You know, just explain how your weekend was.
Well,
what about my weekend?
I'll ask you how you were.
My weekend was good, Finn.
Hey, how was your weekend?
My brother had a fight last night.
Yeah.
Shuriken fight series. Shout out Cameron. Unfortunately, didn't get the decision this time.
I'm sorry.
But he was looking good. Lots to take away and learn from, and he'll be back. And be back on a winning streak in no time. So, getting into the world news.
Yeah.
What's been happening?
Fair enough.
Super Rugby.
Mate, I think this is the best Super Rugby has looked in the last, I'd say, 5 to 10 years, I reckon, in my opinion. It's the most competitive the whole league has been, especially since COVID and the Super Rugby Pacific came in. And a weekend of upsets, to say the least, for New Zealand teams. The Blues lost to the Brumbies at Eden Park for the first time since 2013, a 1-point loss, 20-21. The Chiefs went down to the Drua, 28-24, and the Hurricanes lost to Moana as well.
Ardie Savia,
revenge game, said he's found a new home.
Mm-hmm.
And then my beloved Crusaders absolutely thumped the Reds 46-19, so I'm pretty stoked.
That's a big win, because the Reds were playing well. They'd looked good to start off the season.
Australian teams have looked great. The dropping of the Melbourne Rebels was perfect.
They've all, even the Western Force, who have notoriously been terrible at rugby.
Well, they got
are now very good.
They got pumped by the Waratahs this week. But the Force have had some good wins this year. So this is the most entertaining rugby I've watched for a while. Say the All Blacks tests were a bit boring near the end of the year. Super Rugby last year was really boring. It was quite hard to grab my attention. But so far, I've been quite enjoying it. So really good to see.
League's on the up.
UFC card today, I believe.
Yes, UFC 313 in Las Vegas. Alex Pereira defending his light heavyweight championship against Magomed Ankalaev from Dagestan. Where else? The Russian capital of the world. But he didn't wrestle. He struck with Alex Pereira.
Really?
Yeah. He did one round. He wrestled. Well, not really wrestled. He grappled. And he actually managed to pull this one off in decision, unanimous decision.
Oh, wow.
Bit confusing for me. I personally scored the fight 3-2 to Alex Pereira, but the judges saw it otherwise. And new light heavyweight champion of the world. They're going to run that one back in an immediate rematch.
Is Pereira going to be back in the octagon against him sometime soon?
Dana's already confirmed. Uncle Dana already confirmed that he's going to get that immediate rematch.
Yeah.
See what he does with that.
Good card overall, though.
Yeah, Justin Gaethje was on there as well.
Was Dan Hooker supposed to be on this card?
He was supposed to fight Justin Gaethje.
Yeah, and
he broke his hand in a supposed bar fight.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
I heard it was at training.
But yeah, Rafael Fiziev stepped up. So another war between those two. That was a rematch between those two, and Gaethje comes away with the win again. Comes on strong in the last few rounds. So
it's a shame we didn't see Hooker fighting. It would have been nice to see a Kiwi.
Yeah, 100%. We got one next weekend though, I think. Carlos Olberg.
Oh, is he
light heavyweight?
Belt or no?
No, the belt.
The belt was just sorry.
He's fighting Jan Blachowicz in London, and I think the co-main event of UFC.
If he wins that, will he probably get a shot at the title after the rematch?
Well, he would have if Pereira had defended against Ankalaev, but he didn't. So now they're going to run that rematch back. So Olberg might be waiting in the wings a little bit longer. We'll have to wait and see.
Fair enough.
What about the cricket, Finn? What's been happening in the cricket?
By the time this podcast is up, we will know the result from the Champions Trophy final, which is tonight, 10 p.m. in 50 minutes time. So hopefully I'll be able to catch first ball. The Black Caps take on the mighty India in Dubai for the Champions Trophy final. potentially a rigged game. India haven't played a single match in Pakistan, where the tournament allegedly was, for obvious reasons. India and Pakistan aren't very close anymore. So they're playing in Dubai, where India has played the entire tournament. So, not happy about that. All Indian fans are saying, boo-hoo, go have a cry, but it's literally slightly rigged to their advantage. However, I think the Black Caps have a far greater chance than people are making it out to be. I think we are in the best form that we have been as a one-day international cricket side for a number of years, probably since 2019 World Cup. So we're pretty heavy outsiders, Will. But I have a sneaky feeling that we could cause an upset.
Is it one-day cricket?
One-day cricket.
Okay.
So 50-over match in Dubai. It'll be overnight. I think it'll be done around 5 a.m. our time. So the result will be done by the time the podcast is up. Fingers crossed we got the win. If not, still a pretty...
So we made the final.
We made the final.
So who do we beat to get to the final?
That's a really good question. That is a really good question. We played South Africa.
Oh.
And Rachin Ravindra and Kane Williamson both scored centuries in that game. It was actually a bit of a flogging in the end. Quite a comfortable win for the Black Caps. They've been, like I said, in red-hot form. Really good. So heading into this game, we're actually looking really good. So fingers crossed. We'll find out tomorrow morning. If they did win, congratulations to the Black Caps. They've been on an absolute hot streak of wins, especially since the India Test Series whitewash that I was so happy about last year. So, but if not, still a pretty impressive trying to make the final at an ICC tournament. So, yeah, that's all for the world news. NBL semi-finals wrap. Obviously, game 1 of the finals was played last night.
Game 3's first in the two semi-finals.
We'll go through the game 3s, which were obviously during the week. And, no, I'm not going to lie, some very entertaining basketball this week just gone.
Yep. Melbourne got the upper hand on Perth.
Barely.
By 1 point. Game-winning free throws for Chris Golding to seal their finals aspirations. He had 30 in this one with 9 threes. So, again, couldn't miss from the three-point line.
Form on.
Probably the best shooter in NBL, hands down.
Oh, yeah.
Arguably in history, I think.
Could be.
And then the Hawks got the upper hand on the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. 126-96. This one wasn't close at all. Who led the way in this one, Finn?
In the Hawks game?
Yeah.
Well, like I said in the previous episode, Will, there is absolutely no way we were going to see back-to-back poopers from Trey Kell and Tyler Harvey. Yeah. Tyler Harvey wasn't the greatest in this game. However, only one of them really had to step up for the Hawks to try and probably get the upper hand at home. Trey Kell, once again, 30 points on the night. A really, really dominant showing from Trey Kell. And surprisingly, the vet, Todd Blanchfield, actually came up huge in this game with 28 points and 8 three-pointers of his own.
That's crazy.
Really big game from the veteran. Illawarra with a really, really easy win. Joe Wieskamp from Southeast Melbourne. Honestly, not the greatest season for Joe Wieskamp, but he looked really good in the finals. He had 25 points and this wasn't enough, but the Hawks get the 20-point win.
And that set up our final.
Yeah.
Hawks versus Melbourne. 5-game series.
Should we cover the Melbourne game first, though? The Melbourne-Perth game, which we didn't really dive that too deep into.
Yeah.
113, 112 win to Perth. Well, in my opinion, this might have been the most entertaining NBL game that I have watched in the last 10 years. 10 years, a decade, I reckon.
Crazy. Four people scoring 30 points in this game. I'd love to go back and stat check, but I can't remember a time where that's ever happened. Like we said, Chris Golding, 30 points. His teammate Ian Clark off the bench. Could not miss. Just absolutely cooking. He finished with 38, 14 for 19 from the field.
That was a career high for him, NBA and NBL.
And it was off the bench. Insane.
Ridiculous.
And then as for Perth, Bryce Cotton yet again, 33 points. And his teammate...
37, you called it.
I called it for Bryce.
4 short. You were close.
4 short.
Very
but his
close.
teammate got it for me.
Hey, he's
Doolittle. So, partnering for 70 points is... on any other night, probably a victory for you, but Melbourne just hung in there, and that game-winning free throw, I couldn't believe that's how they decided an entire series, in my opinion. I would have liked to see them go OT, battle out for it, but I guess a foul's a foul.
I honestly thought that was going to go OT.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Once he tied it up, honestly, the name escapes my mind. The veteran on Perth. God, that's so poor that it's completely just gone from my mind. Had a clutch 3 after like 3-0 boards. And I was like, oh my god. Overtime. 2 seconds left, like on the clock.
Yeah.
Dean Vickerman draws up an absolute masterclass of a play. Everyone's overplaying Chris Golding on the 3, of course. Fakes the screen usage, cups back. Ben Henshall's nowhere to be seen. Chris Golding to the line, 1 free throw, misses the second on purpose. That's game.
So poor.
And that's it. But
that could be it for Bryce Cotton. Who knows if he's going to return to Perth next season, but that could have been the final icing on the cake for his career with Perth.
He just went and signed a contract. Was it Puerto Rico, maybe?
Yeah.
I think he's off to Puerto Rico. Was it Puerto Rico?
Wasn't it?
He went and signed
Europe somewhere.
Maybe it was Europe. He's playing somewhere in the off-season. However, the season finishes in July, so he doesn't affect his playing time in the NBL at all. So whether or not he decides to come back and play, I mean, it would be his 9th straight season in the NBL. Personally, I think it's a bit stupid. It's a no-brainer. If I was in Bryce Cotton's shoes, bit of a no-brainer. He's probably set up his whole life there for the last 8 years. The only thing is, I don't know how much he's worth now. He might be too much for the Perth salary.
Yeah, I think so.
He's worth like $1 million a year.
Oh, for sure.
Even in the NBL, that is ridiculous.
Come to the Breakers. Bryce Cotton. Come to New Zealand.
As if, bro.
We're better than the Aussies in every way, mate.
As if. Well, obviously, 2-1. Melbourne got the upper hand. Who was your player of the series, though?
It's got to be Chris Goulding.
Yeah, has to be.
I think just the leader of Melbourne, the shots that he was hitting, just absolutely
Insane.
every time it touched his hands, I feel as though he was just putting it up from beyond the arc, and most of the time he was not missing. So I'd have to go with Chris Goulding, the veteran, the leader on Melbourne United, getting them over the line in this one. Or honourable mention Shea Ili for locking up Bryce Cotton.
That's fair.
Doing his best.
I mean, obviously, Bryce scored 33 in Game 3, but I think in the first two, definitely wasn't the main guy. I mean, Christian Doolittle, in my opinion, might have been the best player on Perth in the series.
Yeah.
Obviously, the impact Bryce has, even when he doesn't have the ball in his hand, constantly drawing in defenders, opened the floor up quite a lot for Christian Doolittle to get going in this one.
Yeah.
And I mean, he went crazy. From Game 1, I think their coach would have come and been like, Christian, mate, Bryce is going to be face guarded all game. You're going to have to take this into your own hands and try to win the game for the boys. And all 3 games, I think Christian Doolittle really surprised me about how aggressive he was, going to the paint, getting to his midi. Shot 27% from 3 on the whole year, and in Game 3 was lights out from beyond the arc too. But yeah, Shayley did great.
Yeah.
But I think, Chris Goulding, obviously. That 41-point game in Game 1 with 10 threes.
And then 9 threes in this Game 3 as well, 30.
Honestly unconscious. I've never seen a man, maybe other than like Steph Curry, when Steph Curry is literally just so hot.
Oh, Dame as well.
And 12 and a half minutes into episode 28, we've already got some glaze of Damian Lillard.
Well, you can't mention Steph Curry's name without mentioning Damian Lillard.
Fair.
So I will not stand for it then.
Fair.
Okay.
But
his father, Steph Curry's father.
Yeah, Ben, I hope you skipped this part of the podcast. But no, what I was going to say about Chris Goulding, like the degree of difficulty that he has when it comes to 3-point shot making is out of this world. Like, not many people in the world that play basketball are able to do what he does.
You said he'd be like top 10 in the NBA even.
That could be a stretch, but you see some of the shots that he is able to one, make, and 2, even take. The way he comes off screens, his feet are like set up so unorthodox every time. It doesn't matter how his feet set up, where his body is. He somehow is able to get his incredibly fast jump shot off so easily, no matter how close the defenders are behind him, in front of him, closing out. If he comes off a screen and then the help defender isn't in his face, he's pulling it every time. And his percentage on that must be through the roof.
And you are right, it is fast, but my only thing is I wonder if it looks fast in an NBL game. Like in an NBL game, in an NBA game, I don't know if it would come across as that quick of a coming off a screen jump shot. I feel as though there could be some players in the NBA who athletically could probably get around the screen and contest the shot enough to stop it from going in, whereas there's not in the NBL. But
that's a really good point you make. And obviously, like, Chris Goulding's pretty old now. He'd never get a shot in the NBA. But you look at somebody like Jack McVeigh, who, again, Australian, tall, 3-point shooter. That's his whole game, is shooting threes.
Yeah.
Was honestly quite good when it came to the Olympics. He's had his shot on the Rockets on a 2-way deal this year. And he reminds me of Chris Goulding. Quick release jump shot, shoots the ball well. If he can get a shot in the NBA, I'm surprised Chris Goulding never did.
Yeah, I think it's just more eyes on Australia at the moment. That's the whole thing. I mean, Chris Goulding's maybe a little bit past that time.
Well, he's old.
A bit older.
He's old as hell.
Yeah, maybe if he was in this current form, but 10, 15 years younger, then
maybe
he might get the shot. but
I mean,
I think it's just too late now.
He's a household name when it comes to Australian-bred NBL players.
Mm.
Well, I'd say for somebody like Australian boomers, like all-time players, he'd be up there in terms of a boomer or Australian player that never made the NBA. He'd be like,
100%.
I don't know who else would be there. I mean, you got players like Andrew Gaze and stuff. He's played in the NBA.
Yeah.
Chris Golding has never touched an NBA court. And to think that he still consistently made the boomers alongside NBA players his whole life kind of shows to me that maybe there was a chance Chris Golding could have snuck onto a roster at some point. If Kirk Penny could have made it, then surely he could have.
Yeah. Kind of like our equivalent of Thomas Abercrombie, I feel.
Yeah.
Like a guy that was always, never quite got the chance, but always hovering around, always making, I mean, not that we had any NBA players to come and play for our national team like Australia did.
Yeah.
Shout out Steve-O, but yeah.
Shout out Steve-O. Please, Steve.
Anyway, it was phenomenal semi-final matchups, and that leads us into the 2025 NBL Finals matchup, Illawarra Hawks, Melbourne United. Game 1's already wrapped up in Illawarra.
Mm-hmm.
A game where I assumed Illawarra would get the upper hand.
Me too.
No. Melbourne United take the lead 1-0 and take back home court advantage, Finn.
Crazy. Unexpected, to be honest. I thought, Illawarra being the first seed, 20-point win against Southeast Melbourne to close out the series against them. I thought, their heads are going to be up, quite confident. But yeah, an 8-point loss. And honestly, the first half of the game, they looked really good. Like, I think they were leading by 12, maybe 14 at one stage through that first and second quarter. But you never know. You can't really count out Melbourne. Loads of experience, a great coach. And when you have essentially probably one of the best players currently in the NBL in terms of form on their team, the amount of attention that would have gone on Chris Golding in this game to open up the floor for everybody else to kind of get going, you can sort of see how United were able to kind of steal this one away from them.
Yeah, I mean, the Hawks definitely looked like the better team in the first half, and then United kind of turned it on in the third and fourth quarters, especially that fourth quarter. They were just way too much for Illawarra. Illawarra just could not seem to find a shot. Trey Kell, Tyler Harvey, they were both struggling.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I think Trey Kell had 6 points and Tyler Harvey had 9. So
yeah.
Another poor performance. And we saw what happens when the two of them don't perform. They lose games, like when they did to Southeast Melbourne in the semis. So, if Illawarra are going to have any shot of winning the championship this year, they need at least one of those two guys, if not both, to step up big time and get the job done for them. And I think next game's a must-win for them in Melbourne. Take back home court advantage. If they go down 2-0 and they still don't have home court advantage, I think I might call it wraps on that one. But what would be your current prediction? Obviously, we're a game in, so we have a bit of a foresight. I think most people would probably lean towards Melbourne now. Do you see Melbourne getting the job done?
It's hard. It is really, really hard. I mean, you make a really good point. Trey Kell, Tyler Harvey sort of hold a similar, I wouldn't say aura, but role to Bryce Cotton, whereas like if both of them don't have a good game, the chances of them getting across the line are quite slim. Trey Kell and Tyler Harvey don't play bad back-to-back games. We've seen this all year. One of them is always going to perform, usually.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's concerning. We've seen it in the last 3 games with these guys that both of them struggle at the same time. I think it's Wednesday night, John Cain Arena, Melbourne. United's crowd's going to be great. Heads are held high. They've just snuck a game in Illawarra. I think momentum, it's going to be really hard for Illawarra to stop the momentum that United have already built from game 1. And the thing is, Chris Golding didn't even get going in this one as well, which is the craziest part about it.
Yeah.
There was no real standouts in either teams for this game.
No.
5 players on United were in double figures.
I think Chris Golding only had 13, 15 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No standouts, just all around great traditional style basketball, passing the rock.
Yeah.
And winning the game, just doing anything that mattered to win the game. Who cared about individual performances? Just getting the job done was all that mattered.
Well, yeah, it was I wouldn't call it a scrappy win.
No.
But when you have 5 dudes in double digits in game 1 at the other team's arena, it was a team effort. I mean, some of the buckets they were scoring were great. It was high pick and rolls. Help guy would come out and, Jack White coming in from the corner and Daly throwing lobs. That was happening all game. Marcus Lee was huge. It was all the little things. No one really was that standout dude. And then you're going to go to John Cain on Wednesday. Their home rims. Chris Golding's been practicing on them all year long. Had 41 there literally a week ago against Perth.
Got the veteran Delhi who stepped up. He was probably the leading guy in this first game. 18
really
points
well
for Delhi, and he was getting lots of dimes, seeing the court really well. So a veteran like him coming from the NBA, and Chris Golding, another veteran. All these guys are very experienced players, and I agree with you. I think they're going to come back to their home arena, keep this momentum going, and I'm going to call it. I say Melbourne win this one. Illawarra will get one at home, and then
they'll go back.
They go back to Melbourne. So I think Melbourne will win it in 4.
3-1.
Yeah, that's my prediction.
Yeah, Illawarra dropping game 1 completely changes the whole dynamic of the series.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, going into the series, I probably had Illawarra probably not dropping game 1. I don't think anyone would have.
No.
But yeah, it changes the dynamic completely. I think you're probably right. I don't see how United can drop game 2. It's going to be really hard for them to.
Yeah.
Trey Cal and Tyler Harvey are going to have to really play well. Sam Froling as well. You're going to need a 28 point per game from Todd Blanchfield like he had in game 3 as well. I don't know. I'm not really sure how it will go. I'm probably leaning more towards Melbourne. And I think once you're up 2-0 in a 5-game series, chances of you blowing that lead are so slim. You have 3 opportunities to take the series there.
Not quite as bad as blowing a 3-0 in the NBA, though, is it?
Well, no one ever has blown a 3-0 lead in the NBA. 3-1, though, on the other hand.
Shout out the Warriors, Bender.
Yeah, and shout out the Clippers in 2 separate series blowing 3-1 leads. A little bit close to home. But yeah, shout out at the finals. That's only happened once. To the Golden State Warriors in 2016.
Shame, Warriors fans. I can't stand any of you. Yeah, that's all for NBL, though. We'll obviously have more to break down in the next episode.
I think there might be 2 games before the next episode.
I think there will be 2. So the series
could be done.
over.
It could be done, and we'll probably have...
Hopefully not. I want to see
I want to see it go 5 games.
Yeah,
Why
5 games, 100%. So I'll be rooting for Illawarra in this next game. Take back home court. Get back on normal terms. 5-game series. 0-0.
Yeah, 3-game
First
series
2
after
then.
That. Yeah.
But yeah, what's been happening in the NBA though, Finn?
What hasn't been happening in the NBA is the real question.
Do you want to talk about Jokic or shall I? I'll let you have the floor with Jokic.
All right. Well, you know, I've consistently said it on the podcast all year. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to win the 2025 NBA MVP.
In your opinion?
In my opinion, I've been saying that. I'm slowly backtracking.
Hey,
Jokic could be 3-peating.
Yep.
Could it be a 3-peat?
4th in 5 years. Yeah.
Would it be? Yeah, 4th in 5 years. Is it 3 and 4 years?
So. Yeah.
Would it be a 3-peat? It might
I'm
be a
not sure.
3-peat. Or did Joel Embiid? Regardless, he could be winning a 4th MVP in 5 years. No man should be able to put up these numbers in an NBA game.
No.
It was an OT win, understandably, so he had an extra 5 minutes to do it.
Oh well.
But it doesn't matter. I thought the 2020 game from Westbrook was stupid.
Yeah.
A 30-20-20 game from Jokic is just absolutely dumb. Those are video game numbers.
Which realistically though, 30-20-20, I'm not really looking at this as much different from the 20-20-20. He got 10 extra points, cool.
That's hard to do though.
Yeah, but like
a 30
Russ
point
doing 20-20-20
on the Wizards.
as a 6'3" player compared to Jokic, who's pretty much got the rebounds on lock. Like he's gonna get 20 rebounds in a game at some point in the season. Obviously, he's a generational passer for a big man. I think that tied like Wilt or something for the most assists by a center in NBA history or something.
Damn.
And 31 points with OT. I don't know. I personally still find Westbrook's 20-20-20 game more impressive for me. But,
Okay.
I mean, he's the first and only person to ever do 30-20-20. I feel as though that extra 10 points is a little bit overstated, though.
I mean, he had 5 extra minutes to do it as well, to be
Yeah.
fair. And who were they
Still,
playing?
The Suns, OT.
Yeah. Well, we know how bad the Suns have been in recent times. I mean, KD's probably going to leave soon.
Yep,
Book,
he's gone.
I think Book might be gone at the end of the year
Yeah,
too,
I don't
honestly.
think
I think the
he's
Suns are
sticking
going to
around.
blow it up, eh?
Yeah. Cooper Flag.
KD looks so unhappy in a Suns uniform.
Ooh, could they trade like KD and Book to whoever gets the first pick for Cooper Flag? Would you do that if you're the Suns? I think I would.
I
whole
reckon that's an
thing up
overpay.
for Cooper Flag.
Yeah. Book
But still,
and
like,
KD is
they
such
know they're
an
not going to
overpay.
win anything.
That That
Cooper
is.
Flag is
I understand KD's getting
generational.
pretty old. Book is still pretty young. Well, he's probably 30, right? He'd be 30
Yeah.
by now.
I mean, I think if
That's
they did
an
a
overpay, dude. That's 2 All-Stars for a
superstars,
potential
two superstars,
two
I'd say.
superstars for a potential superstar.
So he's like generational, like not quite Wembanyama level, but
I mean, he's a 6'11"
not
guard.
far below.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wouldn't do Book straight up for Cooper. Like if I'm the team with the number 1 pick, I wouldn't trade Cooper for Book straight up.
You need Book. If
and
whoever
else.
got Cooper Flag, it would be like Book and like a role player and a pick, or like a first round pick. Well,
I don't know if that's enough, bro.
for Cooper, yeah. And
I reckon KD doesn't have much value because he's old. He's not got much longer.
Yeah, but
in
he's
the
still
tank.
one of the best players in the league.
Yeah, depends what team gets the first
Bro,
pick.
and the
I
Suns
suppose.
have Bol, the C graded version of Victor Wembanyama. Shaq was like, we've had Wemby for years in Bol. No, you haven't. No, you haven't.
Be quiet.
Bol has been all right, and he's been all right as a starter on the Suns, but don't ever compare that man to Wemby.
Don't compare anyone ever again for the history of NBA, basketball, whatever it is, to Wembanyama.
We might see another Wemby in like 15, 20
my
years.
God.
Who knows?
I doubt it.
You know, he might.
Probably.
You know, another Victor Wembanyama might not have even been born yet.
Well, the next Victor Wembanyama will probably be Victor Wembanyama's son.
Oh yeah, good point.
Victor Wembanyama the second. Victor goes and has a baby with, I don't know.
Brittany Griner.
Brittany
Brittany
Griner.
Griner. Wait,
No,
she
Brittany Griner, not Grinder.
Oh yeah,
Finn.
Griner. Sorry,
That would be an L for Wemby.
I don't know if Brittany. Never mind.
That would be like an 8-foot child, though.
Mate,
Jesus.
the Suns are done for though. Like, they did all of that to try win a chip. And I saw a post about this the other day about the Suns. They made the finals, obviously against the Bucks. They were never going to win. It's the first time they went that far. And they made the finals with their young core and Chris Paul.
Yeah. Shows how good
And
Chris
then they
Paul
blew it up for KD and Beal and have just gone
yeah.
since.
L move.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like
I
Cam
think-
Johnson, Mikal Bridges, Books, Chris Paul, Nurkic.
Yeah,
I think Cam Payne might have been around. They had a pretty solid team. And for them, you know, to be like, oh yeah, we made the finals. Let's get rid of everybody. That's a great idea.
They gave up so much for KD, bro. And the Nets
Mikal Johnson. Was it Mikal Johnson?
and like 4 or 5 first-round picks, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think it was like 4 first-round picks. Insane.
I mean, the Nets haven't done anything with any of that
Yeah,
so
they've
far.
kind of flopped away all of that.
Yeah.
What did they trade Mikal for again? I forgot what they traded Mikal for.
I don't know, like
The
3
Knicks.
firsts or something.
Yeah. Crazy. They're trash still.
Yeah. The Nets do suck.
Sad how they were kind of like a terrible team, and then they had that 2 or 3 years of like, oh, we've got Kyrie, Harden, and KD.
Yeah, but you know
And
they
then
played
all
less
lost
than 10 games together.
Yeah.
Because they were always injured. However, to be fair, KD's foot is like 2 sizes smaller, and he hits that game winner against the Bucks. I reckon they go on and win a chip that year. I'm not even lying. KD and Kyrie were in some of the best forms of their. Not career. I'd say it was up there. KD, considering he's just been consistently one of the best players literally since his rookie year.
Yeah.
Kyrie was looking unreal.
Kyrie was a bucket that
I think James Harden might have been almost coming back from injury as well.
he was definitely not like Houston level, but
Oh, no
Yeah.
way.
He
James
was
Harden
good.
on the Nets was one of the worst, I reckon. And the Sixers wasn't
Sixers
great.
was the worst, I reckon.
But I reckon the Nets could have won a chip that year with
Could
KD's
do.
shoe was just that little bit short.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda though.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Didn't happen.
Who knows?
Didn't happen. Whatever.
What's been happening with the Clippers, Finn?
Since the All-Star break, yes, we were the 6th seed. We dropped down to the 9th seed. I think we
Yikes.
might be the 8th now, potentially almost in the 7th. We've had back-to-back wins against the Pistons and the Knicks. James Harden scored 50 points into the big 2025, however old this man is. A crazy outing from him. Shout out Wade Jansen in
Yes.
attendance. Actually got me a Norman Powell jersey.
Great
Don't
game
have
to
it
go
yet.
to.
I'm probably going to wear it in the next episode. That was on a back-to-back as well. Second game of the back-to-back. James Harden played 38 minutes on both nights. Pretty
Crazy.
impressive for an older guy, and to drop 50. Snapped our losing streak, and then we backed it up last night with a win against the New York Knicks, obviously without Jalen Brunson, who's gone down with an ankle
Irrelevant
injury.
win then.
A good win nonetheless. And Kawhi, honestly, has
looked good.
starting to look a lot better. A little more confident on the court. Just need Norm back. Norm's been out. I think he's only played maybe 1 game since the All-Star break. He's got hamstring soreness now. He had something before. So it's not like a bad injury. He's just like got niggles at the moment. So
Yeah.
he'll be alright. Chris Dunn, 3rd in the NBA in steals, which I reckon is crazy. And we have the 3rd ranked defense in the NBA currently. So we're still
Fair
looking
enough.
good. I think we just need to string together a few wins in the back end of the season. We can hopefully push out of the play-in tournament, get that 6th seed, and then play the Lakers
You got other teams coming after you though, Finn.
Yeah, where are the Blazers at?
The Portland Trailblazers. Man, I'm so happy to be a Blazers fan right now. You guys might not understand the context. I mean, we're outside of the play-in. But 2025, we've looked like one of the best teams in the NBA. And that's not even maybe the start of January we were a little bit rough, but we've looked so good. We had that 10-game win streak. We went on another like 3 or 4 game win streak the other day. And now we've dropped 2 games back to back, but it was to OKC and the Celtics, and they were both competitive games. So I mean, no one's complaining to lose to the Celtics and OKC a possible finals matchup.
Did you just say that you guys look like one of the best teams in the NBA?
This year we have. 2025.
Just this year.
Yeah, we've looked so good, and I'm just so happy seeing our young talent just absolutely shine. I mean, Jeremy Grant's been injured, which has helped out a lot.
It actually has.
It has so much.
You needed to ship him off.
Oh, I can't believe we didn't get rid of him before the trade deadline. But he's come back, and luckily Chauncey hasn't given him a big role because Shaedon Sharpe has just started to absolutely shine. Anthony Simons really started to find his touch. He's got really hot in a few games where he just goes on like a 14-point streak by himself. Toumani Camara, we'll get into this in a second with our awards predictions, but we need to start talking about Toumani Camara as a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Hands down. He's all-NBA defensive first team without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Who else? We got Scoot. He's shooting 40% from 3 in 2025.
Is he
the
actually?
other day.
Oh my God.
He's absolutely been lights out and looking like the guy who went number 3 in the draft is looking like he's actually going to be that guy. So, I mean, I'm happy as a Blazers fan right now. We have a chance at making the play-in. I think we're going to jump the Suns and jump the Mavs, so that would give us
Mavs season's done for.
If we can jump, I think we'll jump the Mavs. The Suns will be close, but if we can get the job done there, then we'll be the number 10 seed. And I'd just love to see that, just to see our young guys get some reps up in the play-in.
Let me throw this one at you then. We did a lot of chat around trade deadlines on the podcast, and you were saying you wanted to just blow it up. Obviously, Jeremy Grant, personally, I still think he should have been shipped off for
100%.
anything. You wanted Anthony gone?
At the time, I wanted Anthony.
How are you feeling
gone
about that now? I think there was some. I don't know who else
I
you
was
had.
on the fence.
You had a few players that I think you said Shaedon and Scoot were the only untouchables.
And Kling Kong.
And
Klingothan.
Yeah. So
cool.
Everyone else was on the chopping block for you.
Yeah.
No moves made by your team.
Yep.
Was that the right decision by Blazers front office?
Still no. I would have loved to just ship Jeremy Grant off for literally anything. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like
A bag of
a
chips.
can of baked beans for each player on the plane. I don't care. Get rid of him. Be gone. At the time, Denny Avdia wasn't playing very well. I think I wanted him gone. He's looked phenomenal for the Blazers.
30-point triple-double the other day.
So, I mean, yeah, exactly. So keep him around. I don't know if I mentioned Toumani Camara, but he was definitely an untouchable as well. And Anthony Simons, I was kind of 50-50 with because I thought he was taking away a little bit of opportunity from Scoot and Shaedon. But he's been looking like he's finding his form now, and I'll forever have a soft spot for Anthony Simons as baby Dame. So, I mean,
too.
Yeah.
Shout out Anthony on fantasy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm happy. Hopefully we make the play-in.
Did you want to do a I don't know how many games are left in the season. Say like 20?
Yeah, a bit
Maybe
less
even
than
less?
Yeah, less than 20, I think.
If we look back at our awards predictions, I feel like a lot of them have probably changed.
Yeah. I can't remember.
Where are we
exactly
at
what I
now?
chose.
MVP, I think both of us are probably leaning quite towards Jokic.
I'm definitely Jokic. Have you officially swung to the...
I'm still on the fence.
to Jokic.
Still on the fence.
I was about to say to the light side, and I was like, no, that's that would be a bit crazy.
I'm on the fence just because I feel like Jokic won't win it for voters fatigue. I just feel like he, for some reason, like even if he deserves it, I feel like he could not get it. And Shea is still Shea. And they have the best record in the NBA. Oh, they might not have the best record in the NBA. The Cavs probably still do. But they're like 13 wins ahead of the second seed in the West. So like they're by far the best team. So I think that does play a factor. Although, you know, the Nuggets are the third seed anyway. They're still playing good basketball. So I'm on the fence there. In terms of Depoy, obviously Victor Wembanyama was going to be a clear-cut favourite near the end of the year. He's headed off. I think Evan Mobley looking like a favourite at the moment.
He's the favourite, not my favourite.
I know who yours would be. Other than Toumani Camara.
Is it
actually Toumani Camara?
I genuinely think Toumani Camara is top 2. He's not my number 1 yet. I'm not that biased. Dyson Daniels is my number 1 for Depoy.
Yeah, I think... Yeah.
Leading the league in steals, 3 per game. It's the most since 1992, I think it was, John Stockton. I think he should be clear-cut favourite to win it. But I think Toumani should 100% be in this conversation. I saw a stat the other day. Defensive stops. in the NBA this season. He leads the NBA in that category. He has 66 more defensive stops than Evan Mobley, who's the favorite to win it. It's a lot, and that includes steals, blocks recovered, charges drawn, and offensive fouls drawn. So it includes everything, but stop's a stop, and I think he needs to be awarded for that. Definitely defensive first team, but
he probably does get defensive first team.
Who's your depoy?
Depoy, I haven't really done much thinking about. Like Mobley just seems like it probably will go to him, but I think Dyson Daniels is going to be in with a really good chance.
Jaren Jackson was the favorite.
Yeah, and Jaren Jackson
Wemby fell out.
Yeah,
but he's kind of dropped down. I think he might be third now.
Yeah,
I think it was Mobley, Dyson, Jaren.
It'd be really cool to see another guard win it since Marcus Smart. So I think Dyson Daniels has a harder. The things that he does are harder on the court than Mobley. Mobley's 7 foot.
Yeah.
Gonna be an elite shot blocker with his size. Obviously, timing and everything also plays into account. But for Dyson Daniels to like lead the league in steals, and I don't know how many deflections he's averaging or whatever, or total deflections. He broke the record like so long ago for deflections in a season. Like the steal he got that led to a game winner the other day against the Grizzlies. Yeah. Stuff like that. Mobley, cool. He might have a few game-saving blocks, but that's harder. Yeah. Getting a steal when the game's tied on Desmond Bain. Like those are the little things. Like I think Dyson Daniels, from eye test, I feel like he'd almost make it. But
I know you say guard, and historically it's always been bigs that win it, and you say you'd like to see a guard win it. How about show some love to some wings? When was the last wing that won a depoy?
Like a small forward.
Like a small forward,
Kawhi?
LeBron-esque wing.
Probably Kawhi.
Oh, yeah, Kawhi did win it.
Probably Kawhi.
We haven't seen a wing since Kawhi won it, so that's why
we might. I feel like you'd have to go back. I mean, there was Joakim Noah, Rudy Gobert.
It's usually always bigs. Yeah. And then they had Marcus Smart a couple years back, but then Rudy was the dominant one.
MJ's won it before.
True. Yeah. But, yeah, what about sixth man?
Ty Jerome, clear cut. It doesn't go to anyone else. Doesn't go to anyone else.
Hayden Pritchard for me, 100%.
Oh, that's fair as well. Yeah. But I think Ty Jerome has just been... I think Ty Jerome wins it.
Okay.
I think Ty Jerome's going to win it.
I'm sticking with
I think his story and like what's happened this year for him, you know, getting bounced around in the first few years of his career and landing on the Cavs and just becoming such an important piece of their success this year, I think Ty Jerome, he changes games. I know Peyton Pritchard does as well.
43 points the other night.
Yeah, I know. Ty Jerome consistently has just been so damn good, though.
Okay.
So I think Ty Jerome I think he might win it. Peyton Pritchard's a very good shout, though.
Most improved? I know who your player is for this.
I think it's going to be Norm. I still think it's going to be Norm. Most improved player often goes to like a third, 4-year player who takes a big leap in a team. Norm is like a 12-year vet in the NBA or whatever, maybe 10. He's like 31 years old or 30 years old. And he's had like a 11 or 12 points per game jump since last season, obviously with Paul George's departure. Proved that he was honestly a better player than Paul George, which is insane to me. That might get replaced. So I think Norm could have been an all-star, in fact. And for him to go what he was last year and a few years before that, I mean, he was great on the Blazers, came to the Clippers, was awesome off the bench, thought he could have won 6-man. For him to take PG's role, and I mean, he's averaging like 23, 24 points a game. That jump from last season is insane, especially for somebody his age to do that on a win. Like, realistically, we're a winning team at the end of the day. We're going to make the playoffs. Yeah. I think he's going to win it. What about yourself?
I agree. I think Norm's won it. Bias aside, and my hatred
he just needs to play
Clippers.
Some damn basketball, bro. Stop being injured, Norm.
Yeah, I think 23 is insane, and he's kind of been consistently. I thought he was better than James Harden for most of the season. James Harden he's been going off lately, but the start of the year it was all Norman Powell and Zubac. I would say Harden was like the third best player on the team,
bro.
So
shout out Zoo.
But your big three kind of been getting you by. I did not see this coming. I did not see Zubac being as good as he is, or Norman being as good as he is, or even James Harden being as good as he is.
Well, James Harden, the big 2025 is cooking.
I thought he was going to be like dropping right off.
Everyone clowned me that in my top 10 centers list at the start of the year, I had Zubac at 10. Everyone clowned me. Zubac has been on a tear this year.
Like, he could be like 8 or 9.
Nah, I don't know if he's that high, but I think he could sneak into 10.
Yeah.
You got to think, there's some pretty damn good centers in the NBA. True. But I think Zubac honestly could be a top 10 center, bro. It's kind of crazy.
You know what? I'll give you that.
Alright, sweet. We had 37 and something the other day, or 30. Like, I don't know. He's had some monster games for a center that, like, a traditional big, 7 foot, only just runs in the paint, can't shoot. Like, he's your old-fashioned center, but damn, I think he might be 4th in the league in rebounds too. Like, does really well. Defensively, he's a bit, he's all right. But
Anyway, we've got a fun little segment to wrap up the episode this week. Shout out to one of our mates who sent this to us. It's like we're each going to give each other the all NBA teams from a specific year, and we're just going to give the other person the team, and then whoever gets given the team has to guess the player on that team from that year. And we're doing first team, second team, third team. You'll get it as we go on. Anyway, Finn, what year are you going to give me to guess?
I'm giving you a pretty recent year, actually.
Okay.
I'm just going to give you 2022. Pretty recent.
22.
Yeah, this will probably be pretty easy, but I thought I'd give you an easy one. I know you might have a harder one for me, but
yeah,
we'll start.
A harder year than 22.
We'll start with first team. We'll run through this pretty quick because I feel like you'll give us pretty
Should be
well.
a breeze, mate.
The Bucks.
Giannis.
Boston.
Tatum.
Yeah. Denver.
Jokic.
Yeah. Phoenix.
KD.
Nope.
Oh, he wasn't there yet. Booker.
Dallas.
First team.
Dallas.
Luka.
Yeah. First team, pretty easy. I feel like anyone would
Yeah.
get that. Second team, Chicago Bulls.
In 2022. Debo. DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who calls him Debo?
I swear I've heard that name heaps.
DeMar DeRozan.
DeMar DeRozan.
Brooklyn.
KD.
Sixers.
Embiid.
Yeah. Grizzlies.
Ja.
Yeah. Golden State.
Steph.
Okay. Third team where you might struggle. Raptors.
Raptors in 22. Siakam.
Actually, you got this clear cut. Lakers.
LeBron.
Yeah. Timberwolves.
Cat.
Yep. Phoenix.
Chris Paul.
Yeah. And the Hawks.
Trae Young.
Breezed it.
How did Trae Young make it?
Breezed it. I should have done a harder one.
Yeah,
I should have gone way back.
Because
Because which one do you have for me?
I'm giving you 2013, 14.
Oh God! So
yeah,
you got it.
Hold on, let me tilt this.
For the
you
lovely,
ain't looking.
for all the fast break listeners, I didn't really start watching NBA more in depthly probably until the 2015 season.
Oh, okay, so it's
Maybe
the year
16. So the year before, however, I feel like I could do this with the teams given.
Before. Okay. 2013, 2014.
Okay,
First
this could
team. OKC.
KD,
Miami Heat.
LeBron,
Chicago Bulls.
It's not D Rose, is it?
No.
Ooh. Chicago Bulls. What is it? 2014.
Yeah. I'll give you one more guess and then I'll tell you.
What position?
Center.
It's not Joakim Noah.
Yeah.
First team.
Joakim Noah.
First team.
First
He
team.
was an MVP
13,
candidate
14.
there, wasn't
exactly. Yeah.
he? Wait, what?
Yeah, first
Joakim
team.
Noah.
I'd
Okay.
completely forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Houston Rockets.
James Harden.
Yep. And LA Clippers.
Blake Griffin.
Nope.
Chris Paul.
Yeah. Second team. LA Clippers.
Chris Paul. Oh, Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin. Minnesota Timberwolves.
Kevin Love.
Yeah. Houston Rockets.
In 14.
Yeah. Remember that team that Dame hit the game winner over to end their season?
It's not.
Who was on that team?
What position?
Center.
Is it not? Is it actually Clint Capella? No. Oh, Dwight Howard.
Dwight
Howard. I forgot he was there.
Golden State.
Curry.
And Spurs.
Kawhi.
Nah. Guard.
Ooh, older guy.
Yeah.
It's not Tony Parker.
Yeah, it's
is
Tony
it?
Parker.
Tony Parker in 14.
It would have been like what in his prime then, actually.
Yeah, a little bit before. Tony
before.
Parker. Yeah.
Third team we got Pacers.
Paul George.
Yeah. Trailblazers.
Dame.
It wasn't the one. There's two Trailblazers on here. It
Oh,
wasn't the one that I was
LaMarcus
saying.
Aldridge?
But yeah, there's two.
So Dame and LaMarcus both made it.
Shout out Portland. I'll leave that one for last. Phoenix Suns. Oh my god, both of these last two. There's no chance you get these last two.
2014.
No chance. 2014 third team Phoenix Suns. I did not know he was an
Eric
NBA
Bledsoe.
player. No.
Okay.
It's a guard though. Who were some other guards on that team with Phoenix?
Not Book.
Remember there was three of them. And they're all point guards, and they were like all fighting for minutes.
For 2014 Phoenix.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna struggle. All Star.
I don't
You'd think
he
so. If he was in
Yeah.
the All NBA team,
No, but I seem to remember that he was an All-Star. He was a first-time All-Star years later when he was on the Miami Heat. There's another hint.
Miami Heat.
He was on the Miami Heat and he was an All-Star for them as like an injury replacement in like 2019, 18, something like that.
Oh my god.
They had Eric Bledsoe, Isaiah Thomas, and who was the third guard that they had?
It's not Book.
Goran Dragic.
Oh my god. Third team.
Third team. I don't think he was an All-Star then, eh? Because
Can't
wasn't
have
it his
been. I
first time with the Heat?
Did he even make an All-Star team?
Yeah, with the Heat. He made
Did
it.
he make it?
He made it 1 year with
Goran
the Heat.
Dragic. I think
That's
I
crazy.
forgot. I only knew him really from his Heat days, to be fair. I
The
feel like-
last one is even more insane.
What team?
The Charlotte Bobcats.
Oh hell no.
Yeah, you're not getting this. Center. He hung around in the NBA probably till like 2018, I reckon.
Oh, third team All NBA.
All-NBA
Charlotte Bobcats.
This must have
Al
been-
Jefferson.
Yeah.
No way!
Yeah,
what
Al
a pull!
Jefferson. Great
What a
pull.
pull! I'm happy with that.
Great
Al
pull.
Jefferson.
Let us know
Boom.
if you want us to do more of these guys. Pretty fun. Choose some random teams. But that's it for this
Jefferson,
week.
what a
Al
pull,
Jefferson's a
what a
crazy
pull.
pull. Great work.
I'm happy with that.
Goran Dragic, I don't know how he
I was
in
not
that
going to get
team.
that.
But
Al Jefferson might be
Yeah.
harder than Goran Dragic.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why I left it for last. Great pull, Finn.
Fair play.
Let us know if you want us to do more of these guys, and thanks for tuning in to another episode. Stay tuned for next week's. Who knows? NBL could be all
done.
over, Finn.
Could be done.
But yeah, that's us.